Hello everyone, this is ICBs here and today we're talking about Snow White again. Just checking in to see how she's doing. And by the looks of it, not too well at all. With the budget of 240 to 270 million, it's made 145 million so far. That is not good news. And when you consider that there is marketing cost added to that as well, which is usually double that of the budget, Snow White probably needs to make about $500 million just to break even. And so far, we're sitting at about $150 million just being nice to this movie. Well, this film made about $42 million in its first box office weekend. And literally on the second day of its release date, this movie lost to Working Man, which is a movie that stars Jason Statham. And this movie is a very low budget movie. And Snow White in its second week loses to this movie, which is baffling when you think about that. And when you consider things, this movie made its box office below expectations, and you have to realize that the expectations for this movie were lowered before the release of this movie, and it fell short of those expectations as well. And the other things to consider would be that this movie had absolutely no competition whatsoever. And literally in the second week, when The Working Man is released, this movie comes in second. It is baffling that this movie is performing so bad. And I was reading this article on IMDb, which I found to be absolutely hilarious. It goes over the general things about the controversy about the main two actresses, about the box office as well, and a massive loss on the second weekend, and also losing to Jason Statham's Working Man. And this article goes on to say, which I find a bit hilarious. It says that being said, the film's $3.7 million domestic haul on Friday was enough to push it past the 100 million mark at the global box office. Wow, like this guy is saying that this movie is performing so poorly, but hey, at the very least it made about $100 million. I know that the proverbs exist such as saying the glass is half full, but you know what this guy is saying, that there are hydrogen and oxygen atoms in the glass, so technically water exists in the glass. Like, no man, like this is just beyond supernova levels of positivity. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are saying that this movie is performing so poorly because of the actresses and controversies. Like, I've definitely talked about this thing in length, but I really don't think that this movie is performing this poorly because of some comments that Rachel Zegler made. I don't even think that most average people even know about the controversy. I just think that this movie is so bad, and I can say that this movie is bad because I watched it. I even uploaded a review of that. This movie is so bad that the word of mouth is good enough for people to know that this movie is absolutely garbage. A lot of people are attributing this to Rachel Zegler. I mean, I don't like her, I don't hate her, but still, I just don't think that you can attribute this movie's failure to Rachel Zegler. I do believe that this movie was doomed from the beginning. Disney probably changed a lot of things from the beginning, including the Seven Dwarfs, which was like the central piece. It's in the name, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but Disney, for some god awful reason, decided to remove them and replace them with seven bandits, which absolutely makes no sense. And whenever Disney got some backlash, Disney decided to add some CGI dwarfs in the movie just for the hell of it, but it makes absolutely no sense for them to include because it breaks a lot of things than it fixes. And then you have the seven bandits that ended up doing nothing in the entire movie. And then you have the seven dwarfs that do absolutely nothing in the entire movie. So this whole movie was just an absolute mess from the get-go. And yeah, if this movie wants to generate some profit, it needs to go over at least $500 million mark, because that's where the ballpark is for the entire budget of this movie with the marketing cost included. And so far, $145 million of a box office, it's not looking good. I'm thinking that it it would be a miracle if this movie is able to cross $200 million, and I don't think that it's ever going to cross over $500 million at all. I just don't think it's going to happen. And yeah, this movie is absolutely cursed. And this movie had director Mark Webb attached to it, who directed the Amazing Spider-Man movies that were also not received well. But personally, I loved them. I still watch them from time to time. It's sad. Like, I know that this guy is capable of making movies that are much better than whatever this Disney forced him to make. But yeah, like, you can tell how many constraints there were when it comes to the creativity and what people want to do, and Disney not letting them do it. But yeah, this video was all about checking in to see how this movie is doing. I might make at least one more video, maybe in a month or something, just to see how this movie performed overall, just to finally see if it actually made some profit or not. But yeah, like, those are my thoughts for now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, it's time for a goodbye.